I'll ask you first up, when you saw the Queensland side, when you saw the New South Wales side, what were your first impressions?
Oh, I didn't see any surprises, Jimmy. I thought, that was probably the right way to go. Maybe Matty Burton might have got a chance in the centres, the left centre position over Bradman Best, because he was just part of the initial squad, that Madge put together. But I didn't see any surprises there, and I didn't see any surprises given the injuries to the Queenslanders either. So I thought that, Dane Gagai and obviously Selwyn Cobbo's coming back, and obviously putting Val Holmes on the wing, I didn't see any surprises there either, really, to be honest with you. And I thought that Billy would go with, the team that he picked initially, and that's probably why, Dave didn't make the side. Dave Fifita didn't make the side.
Yeah, okay, so lots to unpack with that one. No coats, no Taulagi, as you say, and you forecast on this program last week that Val Holmes should go to the wing, and Selwyn Cobbo, I think he's gone to the other wing, but we'll wait and see on that one. Kalyn Ponga in jersey number 17. What does that tell you about Billy Slater's mindset, Mal?
He's picking his best 17 that he feels. Again, I think we talked about, Jimmy, prior to game one, that Kalyn Ponga would probably be in the squad with Ben Hunt or Harry Grant sitting on the bench. Yep. So that's where Billy's head was at the, and I think that, obviously we've seen Kalyn play 14 before for Queensland, and, we all remember his debut off the bench in the middle, probably the best debut by a player ever, really, in Origin, really, if you go back to that game. So, Kalyn played really well on the weekend against the mighty Raiders, mate, and I didn't see any surprises there. I thought that, Kalyn and Harry or Ben would be on the bench together. Yeah,
which is exactly what he's done. So that's one part of it too, and that's a concern, right? Because if you look back and see what Kalyn Ponga has done at State of Origin level, most notably in a decider 2 years ago, he was player of the match in that game. So that's a concern. Are you at all concerned about Harry Grant? It feels like that Reid Marnie's been added to the squad. There's a sternum injury. He hasn't played since game 2. Is there concern around Harry Grant? And we'll get notice on this over the next 48 hours, maybe even today, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. So obviously there is some concern over Harry with that sternum injury. He was out of obviously the Melbourne team on the weekend as well. So yeah, obviously there is some concern. But what's today? Today's Thursday, so they've got to probably make a decision early, because if Reid Marnie comes into the squad, and if that's probably highly likely, I reckon, the way things are going. Gives him some time to settle in. But Reid Marnie is one of the form number 9s in the competition at the moment too, so he gets his opportunity. And either or, whether Harry plays or whether Reid plays, they're both going to do the job.
Yeah, I was going to ask you then, you might have answered it, but how much of a loss is no Harry Grant?
Well, experience-wise, and Harry's probably the number 1 hooker in the game, so coming off the bench, his running game is excellent, bar none really. Defensively, he makes his tackles and he's got a good kicking game. But Reid again, Reid's effort levels are, enormous. I think he leads the competition in amount of tackles he does per game. He plays 80 minutes. He's fit as a fiddle. He's got a good kicking game. He's pretty crafty around dummy half, and he can run the footy. Giving fatigued defences. So, they'll miss Harry obviously, but Reid is a very capable replacement.
Yeah. The David Fifita non-selection, we've spoken about it over the last couple of weeks. Everyone wanted to tell us on the text line their version of events. Some agreed, some disagreed. Do you understand why Billy Slater has not selected David Fifita?
Yeah, I understand it. There's no doubt that, so I think Billy's concern is what Dave does off the footy, particularly defensively, So you need effort on effort in Origin level, and obviously Billy's concerned about Dave's effort on effort.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, obviously, you need players that can actually turn a game and win a game for you, and that's where Dave becomes a pretty valuable player. So, Billy's steadfast on what he wants in a player that puts a maroon jersey on. He's obviously steadfast in the character of that person, and defensively, as we know, all rugby league games are built on defence.
Yeah.
And if he feels that Dave's not quite where he should be defensively, well then he's picked a Kurt Capewell and Kafusi, who done the job before.
Yeah. I said on the program during the course of the week, we called that game last Friday, the Gold Coast Titans up against the Sharks, and it was a great win. But I reckon there were 7 different occasions during the course of the game where I looked at stuff and I went, Billy's not going to be happy with that. Just slow at marker or not getting in the defensive line. And you just looked at that and you thought, And I actually thought that Beau Fermor was more of a standout if you wanted to pick someone with physicality to go into that Queensland side.
No, I do agree with you, Jimmy. So there's a certain type of player that, and Billy understands that type of play. You play at that level, I guess. And Dave's got a bit of work to do, with his effort on effort. And now you talk to any Origin player. So what's the difference between NRL and Origin? And they'll all tell you that you can't have a rest in Origin.
Yeah.
They'll all tell you that you've got to be on your mettle every play, and that's with the ball and without the ball. And without the ball is so important in Origin level. So it's not even actually being involved in a tackle as an example, but what are you doing around that tackle? Are you getting back in line? Quick enough? Are you calling? Is your talk appropriate and things like that? So to get your numbers right and supporting each other, making sure that you're helping each other. So it happens tackle by tackle with the ball and without the ball, and that's Origin, and Billy understands that better than most people. So he's been there, done that, understands it really well, and he feels that the team he's picked, along with the selectors, there's Gene Miles and there's Darren Lockyer that sits beside him talking about, discussing, and then he's got Josh Hannay and Nate Miles with him, Jonathan Thurston, Matty Ballin, all those sort of types of people who understand the game really well. So obviously, they'll probably be in constant conversation about the type of player they want to put the maroon jersey on. Yeah,
and you've talked about on this program a lot over the years, in particular last year, about character and how important that is. And so if you go to Kurt Capewell, you go, right, well, absolutely no question around the character of Kurt Capewell. The problem with Kurt Capewell is he's not as physical as Dave Fifita at his best. And if there's one thing to come out of the Melbourne game was the physical assault from New South Wales. So, and from all reports, Billy has made this squad watch that game again. And said, right, this is where we need to be better. So is that a concern for Queensland or give me the understanding of why Billy is making them sit through that? And did you ever do that during your coaching time at Origin level?
I did that. I did that sometimes. Sometimes I just showed them the first play. It's depending on where the team's at. Sometimes I just look, listen, we can show you all the stats. We can give you a review on where you went wrong. But at the end of the day, New South Wales scored 38 points against you. So there's all different ways you can motivate your footy team. But I would suggest to you that all the players are looking for a second opportunity because they were out-muscled. There's no doubt about that. They wouldn't be too happy about it, if not embarrassed by it all. So, they'll be much better. Their mindset will be spot on. New South Wales mindset will be spot on. Game 3 is always the best game of the series in quality of footy, but also just in competitiveness, so because most games are 1-1, Jimmy, so it's either the mindset, mate, thing, so New South Wales had the correct mindset. They're very physical, they're very aggressive the way they went about their business. They went out there and bullied Queensland. There's no doubt about that, and Queensland we need to get a reaction out of those fellas in the maroon jersey, and I've got utmost confidence that will happen.
All right, New South Wales team, no Latrell Mitchell, and Bradman Best is included in the side. What do you think New South Wales lose there? What do they pick up?
Well, they probably lose the aura of Latrell Mitchell, there's no doubt, so he walks into a room and he just exudes confidence, and that actually picks up, the players as well around that. It gives them more confidence. But Bradman's been there, done that. You heard him interviewed quite often since his selection. He's going to be ready to go, so he's keen to, show his wares. And I heard Cam Murray speak through the week as well, Jimmy, and he, it's game 2 means nothing if you don't come out and perform it again. Really.
Yeah.
Have that same similar performance in effort intensity. So whether that's going to be good enough, we're not quite sure.
Yeah.
But so it was been interesting to see how it all pans out, mate.
Hamali Olakawatu is left out. Mitch Barnett comes in. And obviously there's an aggression associated with Mitch Barnett. There's a capacity to play in the middle and a capacity to play on the edge. What did you make of that selection from Michael Maguire?
I agree with it.
Yeah.
I think... sorry, mate. We're in the car. We've got this bloody noise happening like that. We've got no idea where it's coming from. We're in a hire car.
Okay.
So I hope it's not interfering with your listeners. Oh, guys, things can happen when you're in the car with kids.
Can I make a prediction? Can I make a prediction that what's been going on there?
If you don't mind.
Here we go.
If you don't mind, something's happening.
I think Mrs. Meninga's left the vehicle with the kids. I reckon picked up an ice cream after lunch and now has come back into the car and now you're looking to drive away. And how's that? Am I close to the mark there? Because I could hear the doors opening.
Well, missing the ice cream.
Just missing the ice cream, yeah. So, no, I'll tell you what we're trying to do. My two boys have got. Oh, here we go again. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got two boys. My two boys are trying to get a haircut.
Oh.
And it's their lucky haircut for the Origin.
Yes.
So I'm not quite sure what's going on, mate. So we'll find out.
I tell you what, this does not augur well for Queensland. I've got to say, Mal.
We're getting all the bad out of the road, Jimmy. We're getting all the bad luck out of the road.
Okay.
We found it.
You've got it?
Yes. Everyone cheer. Yeah.
Okay.
Dear.
You know what the beauty of this is?
What was that question you asked us?
Hang on. You know what the beauty of this is? You may well be the 13th immortal in rugby league. Have a decorated career as Australian and Queensland and Canberra Raiders captain. But your family holidays are exactly the same as the family holidays that our listeners go on. That's one thing we've learned today.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Yeah, it's all my fault, Jimmy. It's all my fault, mate.
Well,
Yeah.
now, there's a couple of text messages that have come in. He's got Madge in the boot, is what Mark's saying.
It could be. It could be.
So,
we can't tell any secrets. We need your secrets.
Now, here's one for you, Mrs. Meninga, and this is from the Pearl, the Cara Pearl. I say this with trepidation, but with just hearing her voice, I think Mal is punching above his immortal weight. But aren't we all? That's from the Pearl.
Well, apparently, so she's one of the kids now, so that's how young she is.
Oh,
Exactly.
really?
Yeah, apparently, and a punching way above my weight.
Way above. There we
like
go. We
double her weight.